Alright, welcome back everybody. We got another Harescramble race. This is going to be the first one on the YZ250X new bike 2023. Got my brother to the right of me on the KTM, and kind of just getting ready with the third row here, but things are about to get going. So this is not only the first ride on the YZ250X, but it's also first race and first ride. So yeah, I just kind of threw myself right into it. Line before us is going. This thing has no problem starting up in gear. I've done it plenty of times now. It starts right up. I'm loving this thing so far. Spoiler alert, but yeah, we're about to get going here.
Seconds. 10 seconds.
So pretty dang good start for me. One of my better starts, I'd say. I haven't had a bunch of great starts or anything, so that was a pretty good start. Second off the start. This is a pretty sweet track. It's got a lot of like trails like this and single track, and then it actually opens up into some fields and stuff like that. It was a tough one. I'll get more into that later. It was one of the tougher races, I'd say. I think a lot of people agree with that too. This track was really tough, and it got beat up, but yeah, we'll get more on that later. So 2023 YZ250X, first ride, first race. Got this like a week or two before this race. Literally like rode it down the street in front of the house a few times, and then rode it for like a minute when I went to go pick it up. I went to Virginia to go pick it up, and the guy had some property and I rode it there, but really haven't rode it yet. I just know it felt nice and fresh and new. It was low hours, and I'm super stoked to have this bike. It really makes the other 250 I had look like a piece of junk. So super stoked to be on this thing. The power was good. It's now yeah, I see we're getting out of this little field, which not all these Harescramble races have. Some of them don't really get out into the open as much as this one. This one has a lot more open sections, which is a cool little change up to get out of the trails and just let it open up. And then this is one of the tracks where it's I believe at least, kind of just like a private property, and they only use it for the Harescramble races. So the trails were a little weirder, like in there. I just ripped off a tear off, and I ripped off all of my freaking tear offs, so that's awesome. I had no more tear offs for the whole race, but yeah, it's like, I believe, from as far as I know, a private property and not really like a public riding place. So, and that kind of showed because it rained the day before. We got like a rain all week before this race, and then it was kind of drying up, but then I believe it rained the night before pretty decent, and the track got beat up. You guys will see it got some super deep ruts, but yeah, you'll see that in a little bit. But right now, I believe, yeah, I haven't been watching the race, but I believe we made that pass for first. Oh yeah, we did when it opened up back a couple of seconds ago. When it went out in the field, we got the pass for first. And we're cooking along. I felt really good on this bike. Still getting like, it's always those first lap. You're just, so much is going on. My arms are pumping up crazy on the first lap, and then I just kind of get a little bit of a groove of things. So we're kind of starting to settle in here now, find our groove, chill out a little bit. But a couple little different things. Like I was pretty curious, like 250X, the regular YZ250, which I had before, like how it would feel different and everything. And you know, obviously it has the kickstand. It's got like a couple different things, softer suspension and like wider gear ratio, I believe. And really, it was pretty similar. Like the power was good. You can lug it really good. It was awesome, and just lugging through and not like you could run it really low and not be in the power band, and it still felt really good going up hills or whatever. And the power, I would definitely say was a little lacking on power compared to the YZ250, my other YZ250, and but it still had everything you need. Like it was all there, everything you really need. It was all there. It was just a little bit tamer, but kind of in a good way, if that makes sense. And yeah, as you can see, I just said this is slick. This trail was super slick. It was pretty good in some spots, but a lot of it was pretty beat up. And what I was getting at earlier, with this being like a private, as far as I know, kind of like a private land, not really ridden as much, just cut through the trail for these races, as far as I know. When it rained super bad like this, I think what happened is places like, say, Brushy or whatever, where if you ever go there on the weekends, on a regular old weekend, you'll see like those little mini dozer things. I don't know what they're called, but they're pretty sweet, where they just get the trail on the side of a mountain to be like very level. They don't have that here, I don't think. And when it rains, you're on a lot of these like off camber kind of trails, and then it just turns into a very slot one rutted lane course in some spots. I'm always up for a challenge, so it was fun. And then these parts, like where it opened up, were awesome. But you'll see these ruts got pretty huge, like bigger than any other of the courses, I think, like from my memory. Because I think a lot of people would say that Brushy is usually the hardest course through the series, the most technical, whatever, most challenging. But I don't know, this one was harder than Brushy to me. Like after this race, I was physically exhausted, and my brother was too. But just trying to get some high lines here, and it was still a super fun course, don't get me wrong, but it was tough. It was tough for sure, and slick. Nice little pass there through the little single track woods. I know at one of the next couple laps, I screwed myself there. Hopefully I got that on video. I haven't got that far in the footage yet. But, oh, and this was crazy. I don't know if that really translated on GoPro, but I was on the very edge of that bridge. I don't really know how. That was complete luck that I stayed on that thing. Ow! track official points through a little cut through and whatnot. And on races like these, that's like making those little, I don't even know what the real rule is. I feel like I've heard like 25 feet off the main course is okay or something. I don't know what the actual rule is, but doing those and finding those is like very crucial, and being the person to like actually make them too is something I need to be better about, because in this race you'll see those develop, because some of these ruts just got so dug out, and if you're following someone that gets stuck on them, you're just sitting there waiting, and it's like you can try to go out and not be in the rut, but you're just going to inevitably fall back into the rut. It was tough, but you just got to adapt, I guess, and make those little side trails and figure it out. And like right here, this was one of those spots where it was like up to way past the pegs, honestly. It was like the whole bike was getting buried in those ruts, and that was probably where I should have taken another line. But honestly, this bike did really well getting through those huge ruts, so it wasn't even a huge issue. But yeah, it's just definitely not the most fun going through super deep slot car type riding ruts like that. And the GoPro obviously does not do it justice, but there's a lot of sections where it was like that. But to be fair, this bike did do pretty well through them. I think I said it in one of the video where I was showing off the bike where I just got it, but the bike had nine-ish hours on it when I got it, and I think those are pretty light hours. And the tires pretty good on the bike, but I'm guessing they're the original tires, so they're still pretty good. They're still pretty good. This was just not the best conditions for traction in general, so I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I think I want to try a new tire when I do replace them. So if you guys got any like tires you just absolutely love, for a lot of my stuff is like North Carolina, like red clay, I don't know, tacky dirt, or sometimes a little bit slick. If you guys got any tires you guys really like in those conditions, let me know. I've always just kind of stuck to like the Dunlops MX53 and MX33s. I kind of want to get out of that and just try something different. And boom, another, you can just see this little slot car line here. And this is a pretty good uphill, like especially for the conditions and the rootiness and the slickness. This was a good hill. This is a tough hill. You got to keep your momentum. definitely thought I was gonna get a little stuck there, but just a little bumped on it, and she lugged right through. That's, as I was saying earlier, like, this thing definitely lugs really well and just tractors really, really well. And also, like I said, the tire is like pretty good condition, but it's not great, so some fresh tires on that thing will go crazy. Also, on the Enduro Engineering handguards, I kind of went over this on the video where I bought the bike, but all that's on the bike is those Enduro Engineering, what are they called, handguards, bark busters, whatever. We got those. We got a pipe guard. It's like a carbon fiber looking pipe guard thing, and here I got, I don't know, I got confused. I was like, am I going down there? Stupid moment, but go down the road. But the pipe guard, and then we got a skid plate. It's like AXP Racing skid plate, and which is actually a pretty nice skid plate. The only downside I've noticed so far when I got it dirty after this race is it's mounted on there like kind of crazy. There's a bunch of little mounts on it. It doesn't look super easy to take off for washing. But other than that, it looks good for protection. And like this bike came with all like the protection things that I would do to it. So I'm stoked about that. I don't even know. I don't think I really want. I mean, a pipe and whatever would be cool, but I think if I do anything next, it'll just be the suspension. Like, suspension felt pretty dang good stock like this, and just fresh bike stock suspension. It felt really good, but suspension can really change the game. And the only really thing I noticed is like it could have just been this track and that I was wet too, or a little bit slick too. But when I pressed the front brakes, sometimes it was just like the front would kind of catch and want to throw me forward a little bit, like want to wash out, and I just had to be careful of that. But overall, this bike, it felt super fresh, super good. And another sketchy, smaller than normal bridge into some super rooty, deep rutted stuff. A lot of these bridges were like a lot smaller than normal bridges you'd see on trails, which were a little sketchy. I wasn't playing around with those bridges, but yeah, like you guys saw earlier, I almost fell off the like. There's another one. I think it's like a good 2 or maybe 3 foot wide bridge. I think a couple people fell off those, but especially when they got super slick like that, they were sketchy. Another somewhat tough uphill section there. If you don't keep your momentum, you're not looking too good on that. But I believe I haven't made any cuts or like edited anything out of this first lap like I usually do. I kind of the first lap just absolutely raw footage. Show you guys like a whole first lap. Most of these races are give or take, well, usually 20-23 minutes, something like that. A good lap, maybe 25 minutes. They're all around a 7-mile loop, but low 20-minute laps or mid 20-minute laps. But now we're getting back out in the field, letting this thing eat. Oh yeah. starting to get to the end of the first lap here. Oh yeah, we go back into the woods for I think a short little time here, and then we come back into the opening up and into the lap. But as most of my videos of these hare scrambles are, this one's going to be split into two parts. This will be the first part, and then the second will be the final. And yeah, we're closing in on a lap here. Alright, lap 1 is finished. Led the first lap. Going into the second lap, as you can see, we're kind of wrapping around to this other open field where it was the starting area. This whole venue, location, track, whatever, was super beautiful, honestly. Like this was some really nice property. So it was pretty sweet to race when you get to race places like this that aren't really open to the public and only open for select races. I think what happened there, if I recall right, I didn't hit my hand or anything. Like, I got the hand guards, I'm good, but I'm pretty sure I just leaned my shoulder straight into a tree. Actually, that's definitely what happened. I remember after this race was about a week ago now, but I remember after this race, both my shoulders were pretty scarred up. But that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you. Stay tuned for part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. And be sure to tune in for part 2, which will be up in the next day or two. Thank you guys. Like, subscribe, comment. See you guys.